Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to the Galactic Astrology Podcast. On the Earth timeline, today is May 16th, 2023. But here in the Galactic, we're calling in the beautiful, lovely star sisters, Julia Balaz, who is the founder and creator of what's called the Quantum Soul Guidance Practitioner's Course. And today, Julia and I are just so happy to celebrate our newest certified practitioner, Saartje. Welcome, welcome, ladies, and congratulations, Saartje, who is based in Spain, but speaks 5 languages, in particular, English and Dutch. Welcome, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. So nice to be here, finally.
I'm so curious to hear your story, Saartje, because when you submitted your certification reports, you've mentioned that you're noticing how you're attracting clients that have certain star systems in their reports that are corresponding with your own. And it's different to what I would usually attract, like the Aldebaran, Antares, Pleiades, that you didn't actually get those just yet. So it's so nice to see different flavors, different frequencies coming through this course so that we can really serve as wide and broad audience as possible. So really looking forward to hear your story. Well done.
Right? I found that super interesting, that I really saw the similarities to my own chart. It's like the universe gives you this mirror through which you learn more about yourself too, or attract the clients which you can help better because you understand better from my own chart then. But yes, indeed, I have never had certain star systems, and it's curious that I don't have them. So yeah, the magic of the universe.
Pure magic, yeah. Divine synchronicity. Just so incredible.
Well, I just love the fact that 5 earth languages, and now you've added in this galactic language as well. So when we talk about being able to communicate, right, using words or using spiritual modalities to try and find a way to understand oneself. And I read, Saartje, what you wrote about the birth of the new earth in your beautiful practitioners in the certified copy on Julia's website, galacticastrochart.com. And you mentioned the new creation and the birth of the new earth. So when we start these little chats, we always like to look and understand, how did you get here? Like what your path to this moment now.
Yeah, super interesting. Like now, a year and a half ago, I was walking in the streets of Barcelona, where I live now. Well, now, not anymore now. And I came by this place, this healing place, and she had all these papers on her window which talked about the new earth and like our DNA, upgrading our DNA, activating it ourselves. She was called Agartha, so inner earth. And I got really drawn to her. So I booked a session with her. And after this session, she told me, I have the feeling you're an angelic from Orion. And I had never heard something like that. That was the first time in my life that I was like, I don't know what's happening here. And a week later, my friend sends me a video of Julia. And I was super intrigued. So I went on the galactic chart and I saw that my chart was full of Orion. And I thought, wow, this can't be. To me, my hair stand up because it's like, what's happening? I'm so interested. So then I got more into it. I was, researching more. I was watching all Julia's videos. And so then I entered into the course. But what's curious is also that 5 years ago, I did the Camino Santiago. So walking through Spain. And I remember it's like it was walking a month, and you wake up in the dark and you start walking at 5, 6 in the morning. So you would follow the stars, and you follow the Milky Way. And I remember that I was looking for Sirius, and that people tried to explain me where Sirius was, but all I could see was Orion's belt. So that's where people taught me how to see Orion's belt. So this whole trip of a month, I was following every day, looking at the sky and seeing Orion's belt. Oh, this is Orion. Oh, this is Orion. At that time, not knowing yet that actually many of my origins are within that star system. That's amazing, right? And like when I put all these puzzles together of like what happened over many years, and now I can start to see more like, oh, okay, these were all little hints, pieces of the puzzle coming together. Yes, I am really, really intrigued by Orion itself. So I'm buying all these books of the pyramids and the alignments to Orion, because there are so many alignments on the Earth with Orion in America, in Egypt, anywhere. Earth has a big past aligned to that star system. And I'm very curious to dive into that deeper and read more. But it's very nice to start to connect to that knowledge, actually, that I form part of that system in a way. And about the language, it's true that I really feel at the start of Julia's course, it was very clear that she taught us, like, use what you know, what you do best, what you feel best with. Is it writing? Is it whatever? And I really know that I am here on Earth to communicate through voice, I don't like to write. I don't like to, but I need to learn to communicate. Because I come from a family where communication was like not existing or was not. So I have to teach that. I taught it myself, and I'm here to really speak my own truth and talk to the people. So it was very easy to say, you know what, I'm going to do the voice recordings anyway. That's something I have to do for myself. So that was quite clear. So yes, here I am.
I'm so happy that we have the opportunity to bring Orion starseeds and Orion frequency into the podcast series. So when I was looking through your own personal chart, you gave me permission to share some of your alignments. Definitely 100% Orion alignments stood out the most. And yes. So you have your Uranus in high degrees of Sagittarius opposing Betelgeuse star system of Orion, your Saturn also high degrees of Sagittarius opposing Betelgeuse, and that is also conjunct galactic center, although at the wider orb. And then you have Venus 16 degrees of Gemini conjunct Rigel, another star of Orion constellation, Mercury in Gemini conjunct Rigel, both Mercury and Venus in your first house. And then you have your Sun, I believe, Sun in 0 degrees of Cancer in your second house, conjunct Betelgeuse, another star of Orion. So really we have Betelgeuse and Rigel. And I wanted to ask you, normally from my experience when I've met Orion starseeds, they're extremely resourceful. They're able to really come up with last minute clever solutions to whatever life presents them, and especially maybe when in not necessarily lack, but when you just don't have as many resources as you wish. However, somehow you find a way to reuse other things to serve the purpose that you need. And then the second big trait that I see with Orion starseeds is really, really good sense of humor, that you find a way to bring, lighten the situation up with a little joke or life's humor. That's
so
something else. Do you have that with you?
I can comment on that because I've studied musical theater and I worked as a clown for years, as a clown in hospitals. Oh. So since I was young, I was always working with humor, with acting, with the arts, with clowning. So yes, super hard. And then 2 years ago, I wrote a book with my sister, How to Save the World in 365 Days. And now I have my YouTube channel, Sustainable Saartje, where I show how to, like, with nothing, I'm eating with I can take my own food from, I know the plants, so I know what is edible or what not. And I just love to work with things that cost nothing and to DIY stuff into my own. It's crazy because when you say it, it's like,
oh my God.
Yes, so
Perfection.
much. So that's what I'm doing. And that's what I get a lot of energy out of that. And sometimes my partner is like, oh, can we eat that? Or, oh, is it not dangerous? But I'm like, no. I know this stuff. I can make something with that. Don't worry, we have nothing in the fridge. I can like do magic with nothing. And I really find pleasure in that a lot. So yes, I align with that super hard.
What a gift. What a gift. So totally beautiful manifestation, validation of bringing humor into really difficult situations and being resourceful when there is not much to do, but yes, you create magic out of nothing. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
I would just comment too, if you're new to listening to the Galactic Astrology podcast, this is a whole different way of talking about energy, how we find these links between our galactic heritage by going on the calculator, galacticastrochart.com, and putting in your natal information. When you hear Julia and Saartje talking, it might be like, what are they saying? But if there's magic into this desire to know yourself, and when Julia, you brought up Saartje's connection with the Orion constellation, beautiful fixed star named either Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse, that this star, according to astrologer Bernadette Brady, she said it's success through the shadow because it's on the shoulder of the great hunter Orion, but it's not the one holding the club. It's the other one, this side. And so when Saartje, you talk about helping people step into their self-mastery, that you would enjoy working with them to show them, yes, their gifts, but also the shadows, to learn about seeing them and healing them. So when Julia, you said Betelgeuse, is like, oh my God, there's another connection point. But anyone listening, if this is your first time, like, what are they saying? It is new galactic language. It's pretty remarkable. Actually, we're remembering the language that we've forgotten, I think.
And it goes so fast. I mean, I feel it because I've been, as a child, I was already, I think, aware of like energies that we don't perceive with our eyes and stuff. So I have a remembrance of the 90s somewhere too, although I'm quite young, but still. And now I see that you can talk about this with almost everybody. If you start a conversation, and I remember 15 years ago that it was like this, like, do you know about this? You had to like be mindful. Some people would think you're crazy, but now there's like this opening up in the world where you can start to talk about these things, and find it amazing that we can start to do that. And yes, the shadow side. So it's quite important because I also had my moments where I think like, the search within the self. Oh, once you're going spiritual, it's all light and bright. And that is not the case. If it's all constantly light and bright, that means that there's somewhere you're pushing something away, and it's not the real spirituality. It's only the thing you want to see. And it's the integration of everything. It's the integration of the shadow side, integration of the dark and light, and the acceptance. Yeah, very important. The acceptance of ourselves also as human beings and as being not perfect. Because I remember that sometimes people used to think once you go to a therapist or to a healer that they themselves needed to be healed or needed to be perfect, which is, in my opinion, an illusion, because you cannot go to a doctor and think that this person can never get sick, and it's because I have been looking for years into my own shadows and traumas, and it will never stop. I mean, I'm not healed. I'm not perfect. Once you start to dig, you can always dig deeper and more stuff comes up, and it's because of that search that you gain this wisdom to help the other people. But striving for the perfection within the other, within the healer or within the self is a too high bar to set for yourself and for the other. Yeah, I think that's quite important.
So much pressure. It's beautiful to see you comfortable with the shadow side. And I would say that would be the third very common thread I see with the Orion starseeds, that they are not afraid to walk through the shadow aspect of life and acknowledge it with peace and acknowledgement, and then integrate it. And just if you look at your astrology, you have your Neptune in Capricorn in the 8th house, Uranus Sagittarius 8th house, and Saturn high Sagittarius in the 8th house. And 8th house is all about the shadow side, everything that's hidden, all the metaphysical, esoteric, deep sexuality, finances, other people's values, how we are motivating by all these things, but really also the deep transformation of everything that needs to be alchemized. So I think you having those 3 planets in the 8th house can help you be a really amazing practitioner or guide through soul's journey to help others see the shadow, whatever's under the carpet, and help them transform it so that they can leverage their wholeness, right? In both darkness. Did you find that in your life you had the effect like that on people, that they can be comfortable talking about their darkest moments with you, and somehow there is a resolution and healing? Have you noticed that effect?
Yeah. Sometimes I've also learned through human design that sometimes I just need to, I'm here to also just communicate what I have learned or what I know. And so sometimes these sentences may start to transform within other people. They may start to think about something else, or it may start an alchemical process or something. So yes, and all these planets in the 8th house. Yeah, I think I've had a lot of blockages also in my life where I worked with my trauma. I mean, my Saturn return was living hell. It's really a hard time. I need to go to crisis now and then, like the spiral, because it's within the deep moments that I start to go on the search again for release and for healing. And it's then that things get activated. So they are not there for nothing. They are needed. And it's not nice when you're there, but it's nice when you're climbing up and with more wisdom or more knowledge. And that's what we're here for ultimately, is to work with our traumas and to go through these experiences and to heal ourselves, to get to know ourselves.
I love that. When you called in the Orion stars first, and then your story began with meeting a woman named Agartha, the inner earth. So this idea of bringing in the 8th house or Scorpio and Pluto to try and go deep, deep, deep into the dark places so that you can find the diamonds and help guide other people to find their treasure as well. Because the treasure's not always on top of the ground. Most of the beautiful diamonds have been transformed in the earth. But speaking of your profile, though, Saartje, could you let us know, one, your sun, moon, and ascendant, but also your human design? That would be kind of fun if you want.
I didn't go very deep into human design, but I've had readings and I had friends who worked with human design. So I'm a manifestor. So I need to speak. I need to use my communication. So communicating is for me super. I know that for sure, 100%. And I need to show myself. So my ascendant is in Taurus, my moon is in Virgo, and my sun is in Cancer, but it's very, 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 very conjunct to Chiron in the 2nd house. So it's all about self-value. I was not raised with self-value and self-esteem, and it's something that I still have to work on. It's always like, it's a work, and it will be a work until the day I rise up to the other spheres again. But I feel that also the self-nurturing I have to learn to give to myself. I wish to attract these clients that also don't see their beautiful, magnificent self, their beautiful soul, that I can tell them, you're so amazing, but you don't see it from yourself. Like, I can see it in many other people, but sometimes it's harder to see it within myself. So I think I have the gift there to turn that into the wounded healer, and into giving other people also their self-value, their self-esteem, the nurturing themselves, their bodies, their souls, their minds. So I wish very much to do that, because I wish everybody to be raised into this security, this soft surroundings, the holy grail that they hold for themselves, and the cup and all these things. And also authenticity is also very important for me, to speak authentically and because when everybody lives from their own authenticity, they are already living in their highest purpose because they are fully themselves, and we only need your true self, your true Ursula, true Julia. So
the communication trait, it's so interesting that comes through, I believe, your Pleiadian conjunct your ascendant. Pleiadian, like you must have made connection with the Pleiades at some point or somehow. So that frequency on your ascendant, it's all about that deep desire to communicate for the benefit of others, to help others some way.
Oh, good. Nice.
Yeah.
It's so important to communicate. It's our contact towards other people, to the world. Communication, it's very, very dear to me. Yeah, because I was not taught it and I had to teach myself. So now I know it's really also in relationship. It's amazing when you can communicate openly. Also about the ugly things, right? Not only about the beauty and but everything.
In terms of your sessions, you've mentioned you do audio recordings. Do you also provide the written reports, or you really like the frequency of the sound coming through, so it's the audio or video recordings? Do you do live Zoom calls too at this point, or not yet?
Not yet. So my audio recordings are between an hour and a half and 2 hours. They're quite long. Now, still, maybe that will change. I don't know. But no, I find there's so much information, and I wouldn't know how to keep all that information and then spread it out in 1 hour. So every time I gather information, I can record it, and then an hour later I can dive deeper and record another part. So for now, it's only the recording. But yes, I find with my voice I can give, I think, some kind of frequency, or I'm closer. I feel I'm closer than if I would do a written report. Also, writing is really not my thing. I have to be honest in that. So I don't think people would be satisfied with my reports written. So yes.
Really good. I loved how you acknowledged what you're good at, your strengths, your weaknesses, and then just following your joy, what feels in highest alignment with who you are. And I have to say, I loved listening to your certification reports, the frequency of your voice, and there was just such a flow to it. I thought it was a live call. It was perfectly edited, I suppose. So you're saying that you are tuning in for your client, looking through their report, following the protocol that we have, and tuning into soul records. And once you get a download of certain section of what's relevant for them, you audio record it, and then you continue going into the process. You stop recording, and then again, and then you kind of put it together through editing. Or
I work with Audacity with this program, and it's just I can stop recording, then I can douse, I can do whatever I need to do. And once I have like enough information, I will all communicate to them. And then,
resourceful Orion starseed.
Yeah,
totally. Excellent. Well done.
I'd just like to add in summary that if anyone listening would like to get a message, a beautiful communication from an angel from Orion, this feels like an angelic spiritual download that comes in an audio recording, to give Saartje a connection through her email. So I'm going to call you the angel from Orion, because some of us can't necessarily hear it, or we think we hear it, or we had a dream, can't remember it. But if you want to really know your soul connections from a galactic heritage cosmic viewpoint, like the wholeness of you and your soul on quantum, consider giving Saartje an email and just tune in to what she may have to download to you in this now moment.
So sweet, Ursula. Thank you so much for these kind words.
It's coming through me. I'm not even... I'm like you. I'm telling you, I've had so many shivers of truth, Saartje, when you talk about mastery and calling people forward to let them see themselves in your mirror, that this is what I see, the parts and pieces, but they have to say, I choose to love myself. And this is who I am. And then you bring in the muse and the clown and the laughter with it. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to be so heavy, because Orion can be very much about oppositional light and dark, but you can bring a way to hold both that are needed, so that, like you said, the integration can go deeper
Yeah.
and sitting well within yourself is what it feels like. So
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you too.
Really well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really took my time with the course, I have to say, because I really wanted to, like sometimes I felt blockages coming and I just integrated it, or I narrowed it down and like to go forward step by step, you know, just my rhythm.
Can you recall how many months it took you? I didn't get a chance to.
A year, exactly. A year.
A year.
Yeah.
Really good. There are many students there now that are in for just over a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I went very fast at the beginning, but then the real test came of where you have to like really present clients, and suddenly there's like something in the brain that goes like that doubts yourself. Can I do this? Am I ready? All these voices came up. So it's sometimes it's a struggle to really present yourself and show yourself to the world, and it's saying yes to myself. It's saying yes to I can step into my light. I think for anybody that is a scary moment once you start to say yes to the universe. Yes, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to present myself. I'm going to be here. So it's like giving a different direction suddenly to your life. And we don't know where it might go, you know? So
there was one more comment that you shared with me as you presented your certification reports, that there's always that daunting moment when you're not sure if you will be able to get all the information, but you stick with it, and then suddenly the stuff starts opening up and you actually start getting the stories. But perhaps a message for any of the students of our course, if you feel blocked at that point where it's like, oh my goodness, will I? And then if you stop there, don't, just stick with it and stay with the energy of the chart, stay with the energy of the client, and trust that you can, you know, and you will, and it will happen. So
absolutely. And what I also did, maybe important for other students, is I totally took myself away from the class and the Q&As, because I seemed to compare myself to other people and put myself down, and that was not the way for me. So I just put myself in this little only me, you know, only following my guidance. There are no other people in the world. It's just my process. And for some people that might help too, I think.
That's an excellent tip. Yes, thank you.
Well, congratulations, Saartje. We wish you every joy, and may the clients just continue to come towards you, that you magnetize, whether they're similar to you or oppositional, but it's just this great laughter of let's find out and work together to step into our full sovereignty, our mastery, and like you said, the full light of who you are, that perfectly imperfect, just the way you are. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Much love, and we'll see you all again soon. Cheerio.
See you next
time. Bye-bye.